The house-sitting nightmare. When I was in college, I used to house-sit for a family every year while they went on their annual vacation. It was a great way to make some extra money, and I enjoyed the peace and quiet away from my chaotic home life. The family had 4 cats, and I was well versed in animal care from my time working at an animal shelter. The house was old, over a century, but it had been recently renovated, so I felt safe there. At least, I did until the incidents started happening. The first few days were uneventful. I slept in the guest bedroom, walked to class, and spent my evenings relaxing. But then things took a turn. One night, my boyfriend came over with dinner to keep me company. We watched TV in the guest bedroom, but around midnight, he said he had a bad feeling and needed to go home. He urged me to come with him, but I brushed it off. I didn't want to go back to my toxic home environment, and besides, the house had a security alarm. I told him I'd be fine. After he left, I locked up and set the alarm. I got comfortable in bed, but then the TV turned on by itself. I thought I must have sat on the remote, but it was on the nightstand. I turned the TV off, but it kept turning back on, switching to a static-filled channel each time. I unplugged it, but the eerie feeling lingered. I ended up sleeping on the couch that night. The next day, I told my boyfriend what happened. He was worried but didn't push me to leave. That evening, we watched a movie in the living room. The house had 2 floors, the main level with a living room, kitchen, and bedrooms, and a basement with a spare room. The stairs to the basement were creaky and unsettling, but I tried to ignore it. Midway through the movie, we heard what sounded like an infant crying from the basement. My boyfriend froze, and I remembered that cats can sometimes sound like babies, especially when distressed. I counted the cats and realized the youngest one, a small, energetic 3-year-old, was missing. I went downstairs and found him stuck in the spare room. I brought him back upstairs, and we resumed the movie. Later, after feeding the cats, we heard the crying again. This time, it was louder and more frequent. I went downstairs to check, but the crying stopped as soon as I reached the basement. I searched everywhere but couldn't find the cat. When I came back upstairs, my boyfriend was standing in the kitchen, pale-faced. All 4 cats were surrounding him. None of them had been downstairs. I packed my things, and we left the house immediately. For the rest of the week, I only returned once a day to feed the cats and clean the litter box. When the family returned, I told them I couldn't house-sit for them anymore. Looking back, the experiences I had in that house seemed to escalate each year. I should have stopped sooner. The intruder in the sunroom. My name is Kelsey, and this happened when I was 17. I was dog-sitting at my mom's friend's house with 2 of my friends, Haley and Sammy. We were hanging out in the sunroom, drinking and smoking, when the landline phone started ringing. It was strange because the phone was supposed to be disconnected. Sammy answered, and a man claimed to have the owner's wallet at a gas station 25 minutes away. He insisted we come pick it up immediately, but we refused. The call left us uneasy, so we grabbed the dog, Willis, and locked ourselves in the back bedroom. Hours later, we moved to the living room to watch a movie. Around 3 a.m., I felt like I was being watched. I turned toward the kitchen and saw a dark figure hunched over, rummaging through the cabinets. Haley screamed, and the man turned to look at us. He was wearing a black hoodie, gloves, and a ski mask, with piercing blue eyes. Sammy yelled at him to leave, and he calmly walked out through the sunroom. We called 911, and the police arrived quickly. They searched the house but found no one. The next day, we discovered clothes scattered throughout the house and crumbs by the doggy door. We never found out who called or who broke in, but I never went back to that house. The creepy house-sitting gig. I'm a veterinary assistant and used to house-sit for people with pets. One weekend, a man named Jeremy hired me to watch his macaw, Ringo, and his cat, Casper. The house was normal, and Jeremy seemed friendly. He showed me around, explaining how to care for the animals, and left for the weekend. The first night, I woke up to loud cracking sounds but brushed it off. The next day was uneventful, but that night, I woke up to the bedroom door closing on its own. I heard Ringo talking downstairs and went to check on him. He said, "Daddy's home," which felt unsettling. I gave him a treat and went back to bed. Later, I woke up again and saw a black mass moving out of the room. I checked my phone and saw a text from Jeremy, sent an hour earlier, saying it was normal for Ringo to make noise at night. I felt sick. Was Jeremy in the house? I packed my things and left, leaving the key on the table. Jeremy texted me, claiming his brother had come home unexpectedly, but I didn't believe him. I demanded payment and threatened to report him. He paid me, but I later realized an article of clothing was missing from my bag. I never house sat again.